Okay, I wanted to show you a picture of our TV. That's a 60-inch big screen TV, and it's coming off of my computer back in the little study I have back there in the back. And it's a 8-core 4.2 gigahertz computer. Now, the reason I'm showing you this, and there's my cameras. I've got 16 security cameras on running, and here's a fan. As you can see, it's running. We got a freezer on the back porch, and here in our kitchen, just me and my wife now. Here's our refrigerator freezer, and as you can see, it's on. And there's the factory settings. Where I'm not the factory, but I got the freezer turned up a little bit higher than what it would normally be. And the ice maker, the whole 9 yards, everything. And we've got all these appliances, and I got these kitchen lights on. As you can see up here on the ceiling, there's 2 sets of fluorescent lights. Now the reason I'm doing this is because we had a Chevy Bolt, and it was running off of our house was running off the little Chevy Bolt. But we sold our little Chevy Bolt, and I bought a Tesla. Well, with that Tesla, they got 16-volt battery on it, and I got a 12-volt inverter that I had powering it, and it wouldn't work off of my Tesla, or at least ways I was afraid to try it and burn it up. And so after we sold the Bolt, we went out and bought us a UTV. Now here's our Tesla sitting here. We bought a UTV, and it's called a Candy Cowboy. Now here's a picture of the a little carport I put up out here to keep it in, and that's the little Candy Cowboy. It's electric. It's got about a 12 amp hour battery, I believe it is. And as you can see, here it is up underneath the hood, or underneath the seat. And I've got wiring where it plugs in. You see them 2 plugs? I got them 2 plugs, and I ran them over to here to a 220 outlet. Now, I plugged the candy in at 220 here with this plug whenever it's not doing this job here. Anyway, this candy has been on now for an hour or so, working just fine. And it's this inverter here is a 1500 watt that I had just bought off of eBay. And as you can see, it's only pulling like, well, it says around 630 or 40 watts right now. And that's with all that stuff on in the house. My computer, the TV, the whole everything. And that's what it's pulling out here. Now when the freezer kicks on, it uses a little more. Or the refrigerator compressor kicks on, it uses a little more. This inverter is 1500 watts, and it's 3000 watt surge, and so it should handle it. Now it's sitting right up underneath the seat of my little candy, and it's going to supply power to our house, and I would imagine it'll be good for about 10 hours, I would suppose. Well, after the 10 hours is up, I got this little inverter generator that I bought from Harbor Freight several years ago. Now it's a true inverter, just like this is a true sine wave inverter that I have here, so it powers our electronics without a problem. Now I'll have to come out here and start this up, and I'll use these same wires to plug in the generator right into that outlet right there, and it'll sit here and run maybe half a gallon or a gallon of gas in 7 or 8 hours. And while it's running, powering our house, it'll charge this candy back up. So every 7 or 8, 9, 10 hours, whatever it runs to be, I'll switch over from the little generator to the Candy. Now on the Bolt, we went 2 days one time. Well, we could go at least 10 or 12 hours on this little 12 amp hour battery. Now the Bolt had a 65, I think it was, amp hour battery in it, but I wanted to let you see, here it is, it's working, and it's working fine. It's an electric UTV. We bought it Lowe's, and it was right at $13,000 from Lowe's, and they give me a military discount, 10%, and they had it on sale, so it was a good deal, I think. And when we bought it, we went up there and they delivered it right here to our home, as right here where we live here in West Virginia. Now the power doesn't go out that often, but when it does, we don't have to sit in the dark and wonder when the power is going to come back on, because we've got our own electric power here. So it's generating enough to keep us going. And if you have a mind, now I don't know how you would do it with a gasoline powered UTV, but this one claims to have 60 miles a range. Now we've drove in it up to 48 and 49 miles so far, and we put them little few miles on it just riding these country roads here. And as you can see, this is what it looks like from my garage door up on the hillside here. We live right out here in the country, just like about everybody else here in West Virginia. But it's in a subdivision, yes. And when the power goes out, we can just switch over to this, and we're into electricity. And as you can see, here's my garage door opener. The light is on where it's been opened, and all this stuff is working just exactly the way we wanted it to be doing. It's powering our house. And what we have to do is, I'll show you the panel here, is the way I got this hooked up. We have 200 amp service here. I run 220, two 110 lines into each leg of the 220 that's running the house, but we have to flip off this main breaker. That's the main thing. You have to turn off that main breaker, and when you do, you can feed power right back into it, the circuit panel, and it just comes from the battery on the little Candy. And I showed you I hooked on both sides of the battery out there with a 2-gauge wire, and so it'd be plenty, strong enough. I felt the wires several times out there to make sure they wasn't getting hot, and I couldn't feel any difference in the wires whatsoever. And like I said, here you can see the fan here in our living room working. There's our TV with the our security cameras on, and it's working. And there's our 60-inch TV, and that's my computer that I'm sending out to it over the HDMI wires. I had to have a booster on the HDMI because the distance of it underneath the house, and then back up and around the walls and stuff. But in the wintertime, when it got real cold, we got this little fireplace right here, and it claims that it'll heat about 1,200 square feet. Well, it's heated our whole home here in the freezingest, coldest weather that ever was here in West Virginia. And it uses gas, yes, it's natural gas, but now we can run our furnace off of it, or we can just use this little gas heater. And I went and put a switch here on the side right here, and I got a 5-volt computer fan in there, and it blows the air out and around. And then we turn these fans on overhead, and it circulates the air throughout the house, and it warms our whole house. and we've not had a problem. Even when it was 12 below zero outside, our house was warm. And we did that with the Chevy Bolt and did everything we're doing here. And we had it for 5 years, and it worked perfect for 5 years. Never had the first problem. And now we're hooked up to this little Candy Cowboy. And of course the battery's not going to last as long because it's a lot smaller, but it's going to do the job for us. And we just wanted people to be able to see yourself and let you know that you can do this if you want. Now, my wife is almost 79 and I'm almost 80. Here in the next month or so, she'll be 79 and I'll be 80. And so we want to have some heat in this house in the wintertime, and that's the main thing. And then we got fans, because if it gets so hot in the summertime, then they're going to help us out too. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Thank you.